Welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Let's bring in Josh Graham talking some college football. He's getting ready, of course, for the ACC schedule. Going to check out some preseason game in North Carolina and Charlotte coming up this weekend too. Josh, great to have you back here on NewsWire. I know it's been a bit. Thanks for coming on.
It's good to see you, Craig. Yes, we get to see the Shador Sanders show, the Cleveland Browns quarterback circus in Charlotte later tonight. And yeah, we're a few weeks removed from ACC football media days. And don't look now, but a couple weeks from now, we're going to be looking at week 0 games. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, can't wait for that. And I know we're in it here now in college football. I mean, certainly once the preseason kicks in, it's like all systems go for football. So let's take a look at the ACC's preseason poll, and you tell me if we're missing something going into the season. Now, obviously, Clemson is stacked and ready to go. Miami is at number 2. SMU coming off a great season, number 3. We have Georgia Tech at 4, Louisville 5, Duke 6, FSU 7, the Fighting Belichick's 8 from North Carolina, Pitt 9, NC State 10. I'm not going to go through the back 5 here because I don't think that they're going to have such great seasons. It's Vatech, Syracuse, Boston College. Of course, Cal is going to round it out, former Pac team there. So lots of intrigue going into the year. I mean, a lot of expectation that Clemson is back on top and dominant, which they haven't been in years. Miami's got quarterback, changing with Beck coming in, and of course Cam Ward leaving. When you look at the schedule and you look at the teams, who do you got underrated?
In terms of value to win the ACC championship, it's Clemson and then everybody else, but the 3 teams that you might look at as potentially having enough firepower to push the Tigers and maybe pull off an upset is Miami, Louisville, and possibly SMU, because we saw how great that championship game was last year and SMU getting to the playoff. But there's really not a great value pick to win the ACC championship in terms of getting to the title game. Don't sleep on the Pitt Panthers, who are picked 9th, because this was a team last year that started 7-0, that brings a lot of guys back. The schedule isn't great, but in terms of a value play, just to get to an ACC championship, that might be one to keep an eye on. Wake Forest is 16th out of the 17 teams. That's a new coach in Jake Dickert, but they have the easiest schedule in all of high major football. So when you look at their over-under of 4.5 wins for the year, you're going to win 3 of their non-conference games, maybe all 4 altogether. So all they'd have to do at a minimum is win their 2 league games to get to that over. I think with some of the talent on that roster that returns, they might be able to get over that mark.
All right, good call there. We'll see if that plays out. Now, what will play out when the ACC battles the SEC on August the 30th? This game is in Clemson. Good thing for them. No one wants to play in Death Valley at night, but there's a war of words as to whether or not playing in Clemson at night is more difficult. The Tigers are 4.5-point favorites over the Tigers, 4.5-point underdogs. Total of 57.5. This number has moved a little bit in favor of Clemson. I could not tell you why. Maybe you can. But needless to say, I'm expecting a fun game to open up the season. I know where I'll be on Saturday night.
When you're talking about this game, be careful of mentioning the word Tigers, to be more specific, and be careful on using the expression Death Valley as well. This game's going to be in Clemson's Death Valley. LSU
Right.
has their own idea of what Death Valley is, of course. I think the reason why there's some movement in favor of Clemson is because I think college football is starting to catch up with the fact that there might not be a team more talented in the country than Clemson is this year. Texas might be in that classification if Arch Manning can hit the ground running right out of the gate. But when you look at mock drafts, which obviously isn't the end-all be-all, pretty much all of them have 5 Clemson players going in round 1, maybe even 6. There was one mock that had that. When you look at the ACC preseason poll that came out, or the preseason All-ACC, you're talking about 13 Clemson Tigers, offense and defense, out of the 26 or so or 24 or so that are on that list. So this Clemson team is the most talented team since the one we saw go 15-0 with Trevor Lawrence winning the title in 2018. So that might be why you're starting to see some movement in favor of Clemson. Obviously, it's hard to win at Clemson anytime, especially at night.
Yeah, and you have 2 quarterbacks who are among the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy award. Although, Josh, I would tell you, if my memory serves correct, it seems to me that none of the favorites who have been up there on FanDuel and DraftKings at the beginning of the season last few years have ended up winning the Heisman. I feel like that shift has come in October and November. So Arch Manning is the favorite, but I think that the odds makers are sort of catching up here and saying, hey, look, we got to bunch this up here because we don't know who's going to win the Heisman either. You see, Klubnik and Nussmeier will go against each other. Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State is 11-1 as well. So, I mean, look, this is a tough one to call every year, but I personally don't think betting the favorite has been the way to go recently.
Don't think so. Like, if you want to look at some of the odd value to, you got to get at least 20-1 odds to look at something like that. Because when you consider the guys who win, to your point, it's seldom ever the players going into the season. So you'd be better served doing your homework, looking a little bit deeper at some of those 20-1 or longer odds. Because you're right, a lot of the awards are dependent on voters, what they think about a guy and how you meet those expectations. And if the lofty expectations are set so early, that's a bar that you have to clear that is already pretty lofty, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, Josh, you mentioned the Miami Hurricanes. I want to shift over to them real quick. I live in South
Yeah.
Florida. Previously covered them for many years, in the winning years, by the way, in the winning years. But grew up in South Florida, very familiar with them. This is a polarizing team for me. I know that you call them a little bit, Josh, a sleeper for me. I mean, something is just bothers me that the fact that Cam Ward and didn't go as far as they should have, and now they don't have him. I understand that Beck was okay at Georgia, probably above average as a quarterback, but I don't know. Something seems off for me to have them so high and their win total so high as well, 9.5 wins. I mean, the pressure is on every coach, but Mario Cristobal's got to close out some late wins, I think, to get rid of that narrative that he's had in the past.
I'm with you. The number's set too high. 9.5 wins. It's you got Notre Dame to open up. You go to Florida State. Florida looks really good this year. It's not an easy schedule. They go to SMU. And yes, I do think it's a slight downgrade at quarterback. The one plus you'd point to is that they are really good on the offensive and defensive lines. And that obviously is key with any team you project going into the season.
Fair enough. Josh, enjoy the NFL preseason. And of course, we'll talk more about the college football season coming up. Thanks for appearing on the show.
Thanks, Greg.